Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. If Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right. Let's get started. And so tonight, Sagittarius, we have the 7 of Swords, which has to do with futility in the Thoth system. What can we say, right? This is a card that kind of tells us sometimes we are headed down a path that maybe is not beneficial to us, that we've been making decisions that maybe we're choosing against ourselves, or maybe we're going into a situation thinking that it's all gonna be cool, but maybe we don't have enough information. Maybe we need to step back a little bit, pump those brakes, read the whole document before you sign it. That kind of vibe, right? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to see, how does this energy kind of coexist with the tea leaves? How are these things going to interact with each other? And I want to say to you, thank you so much for deciding to click on this reading. It is absolutely my honor to be able to spend this time with you and to bring you these messages. So I am forever grateful. Welcome to Ula. My name is not Ula. I know a lot of you do call me Ula, and that's okay. I'm flattered, actually. But that is the name of the channel and the name of the frequency, the goddess energy through which I receive my messages. My name is Lenor, but you can call me whatever you want, as long as it is not mean. Let's get started. So immediately, the first thing that I kind of really just was drawn to, as soon as I picked this thing up, first we have a person right here. You can see the head. You can see the body right here, the torso. This would be the lower body, arm kind of out, holding maybe like a stick or a candle or something like this. I also see what looks like more of like a heart, maybe on its side a little bit. And then I want to look up here. We also have, it looks like a little donkey or maybe a mule. You can see the head right here. Here's the where the face would be, the ears, the body right in here, and we have a bird sitting on the back. We also have what looks like 2 animals over here, kind of maybe roughhousing with one another. I was gonna say fighting, but I don't know that it's really like a malicious kind of survival kind of tussle. No, it looks more like it is an animated playing, right? And so we're looking at all these animals. We're looking at this person who's kind of observing these animals. Now, we also have, and I just noticed this, it looks like a pair of scissors right here. You can see, which is so funny actually, because I literally just told my husband, like maybe an hour ago, we have to go to the hardware store later, and my scissors around the house, they're always disappearing. My daughter takes them, he takes them, they never put them back. And I said, we need to buy a pack of scissors, and I need to get another pack of kitchen scissors. I've been thinking about scissors all morning. So here they are. But it does look like we have the scissors that are cutting this in half. Okay, so I almost kind of feel like it almost is like holding a candle and trying to get some clarity about some issue, right? And immediately that thing is just, it's snipped, right? Your ability to see things as they are. Your ability to gain perspective. Because, and I think it is partially you are blinded by love or affection, or you just trust somebody because, hey, we've known each other for our whole lives, or this is my kid, I'm just going to trust what they say, or this is my, best friend, or my mom, or my spouse, or whoever. And, maybe in the situation, you're not seeing things as clearly as you might if there wasn't that love bond there. Okay? That's not to say that it's anything super serious, but, as we all kind of do, we give a lot of leeway to those that we care about, or we at least, trust that they are being honest, that they're intending to do what they say they're going to do, that whatever they tell us is, to the best of their knowledge, the facts. But I do feel like in this situation, there's almost kind of like an energy of, and I just keep thinking, it's like you continually pouring yourself into taking care of others, getting things done. Maybe it's a big project or an event that you've been putting together. Maybe even you're the one that has been kind of bankrolling their life, especially if this is like your kid. And coming into this kind of beginning of starting to see that things aren't exactly as they seem. And I'm kind of wondering if there is maybe a bit of, and I really feel like this is maybe about finances, or just like not showing up and doing what they're supposed to do. Like maybe you have like a business and you have a family member working with you and they're just slacking. But I feel like over here, it's just like a free-for-all. Just messing around, spending money without any kind of care in the world, and it's not their money, it's the money, maybe because you're giving it to them, but it's not being put towards the things that they're saying, okay? Or you're paying them to go to school, right? If you I'm going to pay for a part of your college or all of your college or whatever, but you need to be going to class. You need to be working towards something. And here you find out they've been sitting in their little apartment playing video games all day long and ordering food to get delivered, and, just being kind of wasteful while you're out here working hard. Not even just like within your career, but to keep your home together, to keep your family together, to keep things, like a well-oiled machine running smoothly. And coming into this understanding that, maybe you're not being respected or taken as seriously as you should be. Right? Your time is valuable. Your efforts are valuable. Heck, your money is valuable by definition. And so I do feel like this is a bit of a heartache for you. Although I don't know that it's like the hugest surprise. Obviously, if you've known somebody for a long time, you're not oblivious. But I do think that you're getting to a point where you're starting to decide, like, maybe something needs to change here. Maybe we need to try something a little different. Maybe there's like some financial planning in the future here, right? A few more rules, boundaries, and so on. Now, I do feel like because we have that bird sitting up there, there is a sense of the message being received, okay? We have what seems like maybe an Aries person, maybe a Leo person, and I don't know, I'm going to guess maybe something like a Gemini involved in this situation. And if those are, like if you have an Aries kid, a Leo kid, and a Gemini kid, my goodness, the energy in a house full of kids of these signs. I can just imagine it's like just wild, wild, wild. Jumping off the couches, climbing the walls, all of that. I do have a Gemini daughter, by the way, so. But I do think that this is a situation that, yeah, you're going to have to do something with. You know, this isn't going to go away. This is something that is going to need your attention at some point. But you being the person that you are, you're not a pushover, but you're also not somebody that's super reactive. Like, I'm a Virgo, and I just cannot sit in negative feelings for too long. I immediately, without even thinking, without going in with a plan, I'm just immediately on like an 8. I go from 1 to 8. Then within like 3 minutes, I'm at a 10, right? So I feel like you at least have that ability to just take a beat, right? I'm going to breathe it out. I'm going to decide how to talk about this. I'm going to wait for the right time. You know, I'm not going to bust into their like homeroom at school and start yelling at them, you know, or whatever. But I do. I think that, you know, formulating a plan, having everything kind of set up how you think that it should go, and really sticking to what you've decided. And I see that as being like the most realistic way through this. It's not anything you can avoid. You can't just pretend. I mean, you can, but it's only going to get worse, right? Just ignore it or pretend it's not happening or whatever. The only way out of it is through. And I see you, you know, preparing yourself to go through these conversations. Okay. Now, we also have the wishbone, okay? And I do see some really good luck coming your way here. Now, we're going to kind of leave behind what we were just talking about. We're going to go on to the next situations, but we do have also the X next to it. So kisses and hugs and this kind of energy. We also have a number 1. And again, we have that Aries energy, the ram. We also have a high heel right here, like the shoe, right? So good luck. Kisses, number 1, Aries. We also have the little volcano. So maybe a little bit volatile, this relationship. And if you look, the ram is in this kind of real, like it's going to run, right? You know, it's going to, what is the word? Ram, I guess, right? I guess that's why it's called a ram, because it likes to ram things. Yeah, totally just run at you. So I feel like this is maybe a situation with somebody who I feel like is a really important person, very central to your life. There seems to be a sense of, I'm not going to say it's like a love-hate relationship because it's not that dualistic, but it's like a real hot, and sometimes very cold, right? Sometimes you are really on and everything is great. You're best friends. You just want to be around each other all the time. It's like you could just absolutely like swim in their energy, right? And then other times it's like just conflict. Every time you see each other, you hear their voice as they're walking in from work and you just cringe. You're, oh, here we go, And I do feel like this period of time, things have been a little rocky, and I think a lot of it is part of the time of the year, right? We're getting over all these holidays that we've all gone through. I know it sounds like we've been at war or something, right? But we've gone through these holidays, hopefully not gotten sick too often. Maybe you are getting over some of the flus and colds and things that have been going around. Feeling maybe just a little, on edge. The world feels a little chaotic. Things don't seem like, 2025 is going to be the best year. But I feel like you know, as we like to say here, finding our blessings in troubles and deciding that instead of just succumbing to this anxiety and this like overwhelming feeling to the beginning of this year, getting into action, right? Instead of like cowering at this, like, it feels like quite a mountain that we all are going to be climbing this year. I don't know about you, but I feel like it's a lot. There's a lot to take on. But it's for the better, right? I know that when I have hard times in my life, when I'm facing a lot of change, trying to figure out how to reorient myself and get things arranged, it means that something important in my life is realigning itself. And I have the opportunity to be a part of making those changes instead of them just happening to me, right? And so I feel like in the number one, to me, that just is like going into the situation with this real winning attitude. I know that sounds so cheesy. It sounds cheesy even just saying it. But I have really tried to get onto this like positive affirmation, pumping myself up, doing the little pep talks, you know, all of that. I've been doing a lot of intentional movement. I've talked about this on some of my other readings. In the last year, since last March, I've lost a fourth of my body weight, right? Through exercise and so on. It doesn't matter what, but you know, exercise and modifying my eating habits a little bit, trying to control some of my eating my feelings kind of things going on. But I've had to learn how to talk myself into continuing to work hard, right? Listen, nobody wants to give up as much as I do. Absolutely. I am so good at giving up. I should get like the biggest gold star. But talking myself into things, talking myself up, telling myself, yeah, you're number one right now. You know, you're doing the dang thing, girl. You know, and I know it sounds silly, but sometimes, yeah, when we really do, we get into that mode of being our own best cheerleader, right? And I feel like in this situation here, it's not about talking yourself into having a better relationship, but I think that it really is about talking yourself into really working towards that self-development, getting your life in just like the vision that you have of what you want to be living like, and doing the work to get there, whatever that looks like. And that flowing into your relationship. And I think being in that proactive mindset, it really takes a lot of the burden and stress off of your relationships. I don't know about you, but when I'm feeling good about what I'm doing, it's much easier to be less critical or judgmental or bossy or, you know, just constantly like bickering and all this kind of stuff. I don't want to do that because I'm feeling good. You know, let's work together. Let's figure these problems out. Let's do this thing, you know? And I feel like you're kind of in this same place, kind of transitioning out of whatever's been going on, finding more stability here without all of the, you know, the passive aggressive. That's the big thing with Aries. I love Aries people. I absolutely do. But they can be very passive aggressive. And if you're not with an Aries person, and maybe you're just like, this is not about me because I have no Aries people close to me, they maybe are a person that is kind of, you know, well, abrasive or, you know, a little bit forceful. They think that the world kind of it's about what they need and want all the time. And, and listen, it's not necessarily narcissism, but it is somebody who maybe hasn't learned to be like, in a family in the way that if you grew up with like siblings versus somebody who grew up maybe an only child and they didn't have a lot of interactions or weren't socialized, at a younger age or whatever. And nothing wrong with that, by the way, but you can tell when somebody doesn't know how to kind of meet the needs of everybody instead of just themselves, okay? And so I see this getting better because I think that for you, it's like I have focused too much on trying to like fix this directly, where I'm realizing I need to start just working on what makes me feel good about life and what I need to do and how I envision my world. And, and then that will kind of flow over into all other aspects. Okay. And I think that's really the big work of this cycle for you. Now we also have the letter T. And there's something about almost like swimming in the ocean. I feel like you've been dreaming about the ocean, maybe visiting, or maybe you used to go when you were young, or maybe you always had the dream of moving near the ocean. But I do see that getting to the water is going to be important for you as well. So if you are thinking about maybe setting up some kind of trip, or maybe, maybe it's not the ocean, maybe it's a lake or a river or whatever, there seems to be this desire to go. And when that calling kind of happens, when you really feel moved to go to the water, go. Just go. Find a way. I don't care if it's a puddle and you're like out there having your morning coffee, you're, hanging out watching the birds, and there's a puddle, on the porch or whatever, and you're just looking at it and it's reflecting the sky and you're having a moment, like that's just as good as going to the ocean. It might not seem as like important, but it absolutely can be. So if you're drawn to the water, go. Okay. She wants to talk to you. She has something to say. She has something to gift you. Okay, let's see. We're going to... So it looks like we have maybe an older feminine energy, very much in that crone phase, almost kind of the outsider energy, like a kind witch kind of energy, like the witch that lives out on the outskirts of town by the forest or in the forest, and not the one that's going to eat you, not that one. But one that's, maybe kind of more akin to a healer, or you go for advice, or this archetype is often related to women's health, right? Because often back in the day, not that long ago, actually, these were the people that were taking care of women's issues, women's health issues, pregnancy and childbirth and child rearing, and even the children's health as well. And, nursing and all these other kinds of things. And so this is and I think this is why the archetype of the witch maybe became so feared for, a lot of different reasons. But one, because womanhood is a mystery to most people, even women. I know. It seems strange, but it is. I mean, even for myself, when I had my daughter, I had not planned on having children. or I thought that I couldn't. And I had never held a newborn baby before. I had no idea what the process of pregnancy was like. I didn't know what childbirth was going to be like. I had no idea. My mother passed away when I was young. I wasn't around people who had children for most of my life. And all of it was a mystery. And that seems strange now, right? Now I'm like, wow, that's weird. I was missing like a whole part of my existence. But for a lot of people, yes, this is something that they don't know a lot about, right? And so I feel like this is something that is important. I almost wonder if this is an interest you have or a desire to go into something like being like a lactation specialist or like a peer mentor for those who are pregnant or trying to conceive, or maybe even like becoming a midwife or a doula or something along these lines. I feel like it's something that not only are you drawn to, but there is a family legacy. I wonder if this is something that other women in your family, and now you might not be a woman or identify as a woman, but I feel like you're just so in line with that middle goddess. And so you might come from a line of women or people who practice within women's issues, right? Health. And I feel like this is something worth investigating about yourself. And if it's something that you're already doing, then you're in your place of power. Because I think this is really, there's such a, it's just like a strand. In my mind, I'm thinking of it as like this, like a piece of yarn that is electrified. It's glowing. It's like from your heart onto just like a web, a universe of people being born, people birthing, people going through the process of growing and creating. And you are very attached to that. Your consciousness is in line with it. Okay? So that's very beautiful. Not often do I see something that is so clear, like that is very much a part of what makes you, you. So that was special for me to be able to see that energy. Okay, so we're going to do our 3 lucky numbers. Number 25. Number 90. And number 29. And number 29. And we'll just finish up here with our self-care affirmation cards. I'm going to go ahead and flip through. I'm going to stop where it feels right. I'll flip it over. It says infinite potential. I am flexible. I move my body in ways that feel good. My body is relaxed and at ease. I am healthy and strong. I stretch towards my infinite potential. I stretch towards my infinite potential. All right. Beautiful. All right, Sagittarius, I want to tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you want to like, subscribe, leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. What else? I think that's it. I want to think about, like, what have I been watching? There is a channel. Let me bring this up really quick. I really have been enjoying their walks around the city, walking around, biking, in New Jersey and New York. I'm one of these people, I love watching those like walkthrough videos where people just kind of walk around different places and you can see what it really looks like. And it is Bobby, B-O-B-B-Y, Run Out. B-O-B-B-Y-R-U-N-O-U-T. Bobby Run Out. Go check out that channel because it is really good. It's kind of a newer, or well, I don't know how new it is, but something that I definitely I've been watching. Just like the videos are now getting into the winter time, so it feels interesting to see New York and the subways and all the art and everything else. And yeah. So anyways, I try to shout out a video or like a channel every once in a while, and this has been one of the ones that I've been enjoying lately. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and tell you again, I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in a few days. Good night.